time to check in with CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor Nick Day, who is also the editor of CoinDesk's The State of Crypto newsletter. Good morning, Nick. So you've been monitoring this infrastructure bill going through Congress. What's the latest and how does it impact crypto?
Good morning. There may or may not be a vote today. It's honestly very up in the air at this point. So basically, like we've seen throughout this entire infrastructure bill process, while there is a crypto angle and crypto industry is paying attention to it, everything that's going on is really out of the hands of the crypto world. There's a whole political fight going on. You have in the Senate, you have this fight over whether or not there should be a much larger, primarily Democrat-driven $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill that would, over 10 years pay for a variety of issues. And it's receiving pushback from some centrist Democrats. So what's happening in the House is you have progressive Democrats who, wanted a two-track process to vote on the two bills simultaneously. They're threatening to vote against the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which contains the crypto tax provision we've been talking about for 2 months, unless the much larger bill is also passed in the Senate. And as of right now, it looks like that's kind of at a stalemate. There was supposed to be a vote today. I don't know if that's still happening. It's kind of, again, it's all up in the air, but we're basically watching for this political process to resolve before we'll have any idea whether or not any of these bills are going to be voted on, let alone pass.
Nick, was there anything that the crypto industry could have done differently? Like, was this a failure on their part, or was this just never going to matter that much anyway, because this was never really, as you said, about crypto in the first place?
Yeah, so I've been talking to some folks, including fellow reporters who have been covering this issue from primarily mainstream press, and it kind of does feel like there's not much more crypto industry could have done. The fact that in August, the overall package was delayed in the Senate for a couple days, if not weeks, because of the crypto industry's actions. It's a pretty telling signal that the industry has heft to it. But, at the end of the day, there are, all these, other issues. You have 100 different senators who are all trying to ensure that their own priorities were somehow represented. And, unless the industry started months and months ago, I don't think there's anything else they could have done differently. But it just kind of goes to show that, this process does take a long time, and getting into it a month before the bill's even voted on is probably, not too late, but it's definitely going to make it much more difficult to enact any kind of change.
Well, I'm shocked crypto isn't the only issue. Now, what happened with Kraken, meanwhile? They were fined over $1 million by the CFTC. What led to that, and what does it mean?
Yeah, so this was on Tuesday. Kraken and the CFTC announced a settlement for allegations that Kraken offered margined trading illegally to U.S. customers between June 2020 and June 2021. But honestly, if you look at the volumes that Kraken regularly handles, $1.25 million as a fine is probably not a lot, but it does give the CFTC some, leverage, saying, okay, well, we have this precedent now, we have a settlement, we can say, for sure this is unclear. Kraken can say, we proactively reached out to the regulators, we halted this on our own, and we paid a fairly minimal fine. So both sides are probably walking away fairly okay with, how things went down. I think more interesting comment came from CFTC Commissioner Dawn Stump, who pointed out in a concurring statement that while she agreed Kraken had violated the law in offering these products to U.S. customers, she wasn't entirely sure that it's technically possible for any company to abide by the law within the crypto industry right now, just because of the licenses they need. And so she's calling for some more specific guidance from the CFTC or an open rulemaking process where the agency can seek public comment and then come up with something that is very clear, says, here's exactly how you comply, here's what you don't do, here's a guidebook, basically.